Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Time Technoplast Limited Q4 FY21 results conference call hosted by ICICI Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Jigar Shah from ICICI Securities. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bilal. On behalf of ICICI Securities, I welcome all to the conference call of Time Technoplast to discuss Q4 FY21 and FY21 results. From the management, we have with us today Mr. Anil Jain, Managing Director, Mr. Bharat Wageria, Director Finance, Mr. Raghupati Tyagarajan, Director Marketing, Mr. Sandeep Modi, Senior VP Homes and Corporate Finance, and Mr. Hemant Soni, Head Legal and Company Secretary of Time Technoplast. I would now request Mr. Anil Jain to start the call with his opening remarks and then we can proceed with Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jigar. Good afternoon, friends. And I do hope you all are well and your families are well from the COVID. Unfortunately for us, it's been a terrible second wave. We lost our head of engineering, electrical, and also we lost a very valuable colleague who was heading our plants in Silvassa. So we had two casualties, and of course there have been several other employees who lost their loved ones during this wave. I must admit that we as a company tried everything possible to support them, and in the last board meeting we have approved a scheme whereby those people who have suffered due to COVID, so for example, a earning member is gone away or there are medical expenses, etc., the company and employees have got together to formulate a scheme so that those who have gone away, the families get duly compensated for a certain period of time. Their next of kin can get an employment, their medical expenses are met out, and several other things that we could do. It's a small little thing that we can do for excellent service those people have rendered and the love and affection that they actually have commanded from people. I hope things will improve from here on. There are early signs, but I must admit it is only in the big cities. But if you go down to our factory sites, etc., there are still very severe restrictions which are there. The moment is not open. Our vendors are suffering because they are not able to resume their operations normally, and therefore the supply line or supply chain is still severely affected. The biggest problem, of course, is the migrant labor, who this time around were extra cautious. So the moment they saw the COVID wave coming in, they decided to leave for homes. In any case, this is a time every year that they go for their annual vacations to be with their families. So I believe they would use up that period and would only return in next 1.5 months, depending upon how the situation would be. So right now the challenges have reduced a little bit, but they are far from over. We are here today generally to discuss about our Q4 results and the full year results of the last year. I will just read the highlights and then we will go to question and answer. So we are pleased to report a quarter-on-quarter improvement in the consolidated performance of the company. The net sale witnessed a growth of 14% in Q4 as compared to Q3, where the turnover went up to 953 crores as against 835 crores in Q3 FY21. EBITDA in Q4 increased to 131 crores as compared to 113 crores in the previous quarter, Q3. EBITDA as a percentage, in percentage terms, has improved to 13.8% in Q4 as compared to 13.5% in Q3. And profit after tax increased to 52 crores in Q4 as against 38 crores in Q3. Cash profit that way was 90 crores as against 78 crores in the third quarter. Please note that the full year FY21 results are not comparable to the previous year due to the COVID-19 impact. Also, the results are in line with the management's expectations for full year considering the impact of COVID-19. If you recall, during one of those quarterly reviews or discussions with our investors, I said we'll be very lucky if we are able to do 85% of what we did in FY20. I think we have done a little bit better than that, but obviously we could not be compared with the same period last year. During the year ended 31st March 2021, the net sales stood at 3,009 crores as against 3,580 crores. EBITDA is at 391 crores as against 501 crores, and the profit is 103 crores as against 169 crores. The cash profit was 257 crores as against rupees 331 crores. So we have seen a decline in the net sale, the volume, EBITDA and the cash profits for the whole year. But like I said, if you compare Q3 and Q4, we could see improvement, and we had hoped that that improvement will continue well into the current financial year. Though of course this year has started at a rather unhappy note with a lot of lockdowns, etc. So we will wait for things to clear up in next quarter before we are in the position to indicate as to how would we stand at the end of this year. So we are right now holding back our projections for the whole of current year. Of course, there are all kinds of things that are being talked about. We would expect that if it is only Q1 which is getting affected, probably the rest of the 3 quarters might to some extent compensate. But if the second or the third wave that people are talking about also becomes a reality, God only knows where it would be. For the full year FY21, the EBITDA margin stood at 13% as against 14% of the last year. So there's been a reduction, and that is a net effect of the sale dropping down and the fixed expenses remaining what they were. Right. One clever thing we did was, and that was under our control, we curtailed our capex. So we have kept our capex more to about 104 crores as against, how was it last year? 145 crores in the previous year. And that too, the capex has been our regular capex that we do every year, and also a part of this capex has also been used for our CNG cylinder. And I will talk to you more significantly on our CNG cylinders, which is going to be something that will change the complexion of our business in the current financial year and the years thereafter. Insofar as dividend is concerned, we focused on the payout. So we have improved the payout ratio to be 20% of the profits of FY21 as against 15.3%. However, as a percentage, in the percentage terms, the dividend had to be revised to 70% as against 95% in the previous year. But also the thought was, let's conserve our resources in view of substantial growth that we will be seeing in the current financial year, and also not knowing how things are going to pan out in future. I would like to seek the permission of people attending this conference to make a short presentation on our CNG cylinders before we go over to question and answers. There have been requests from some of our investors that we should talk in a little more structured way about CNG cylinder business, for which we have been making some important announcement in last few months, so that our investors could have an idea as to where that business is going to take us in the current year and, like I said, in the years ahead. Now, CNG is the talk of the town these days. As you would know, that CNG is being promoted by Government of India as an alternate fuel, and especially in the context of energy dependence, government certainly wants a lot of CNG to be used and also to be focused on electrical vehicles. Considering the fact that electrical vehicles are far too expensive and not everybody will be able to afford them, I think the easiest way to meet our energy independence would be CNG. Therefore, there had been a major thrust in this area. Unfortunately for us, the number of CNG stations or dispensing gas stations were very, very limited in the country, as a result of which not many people wanted to buy CNG vehicles. And most CNG vehicles that were sold were dual fuel, because one would not know if you have to go 400 miles inside of from the main city, then he may not get CNG. Therefore, he would like to have a diesel vehicle, but CNG as an alternate fuel. That is not a very pleasant situation, because in that case, the cost of the vehicle also goes up. The government realized this, and then they said we would like to go whole hog for spreading the footprint for CNG. Now, just to give an idea, in the first 8 rounds of CNG distribution, we had a total of 2,100 gas stations where CNG was being dispensed with. Now, CNG is brought for the distribution from their main compressor stations to the dispensing station by way of cascades, where the piped natural gas is converted into CNG, and then you see the battery of cylinders mounted on a vehicle on a frame, right? This is called cascade, and they are used to bring CNG from the compressor stations to the dispensing stations, where the vehicles can come and take CNG. Normally, for every CNG station, dispensing station, you need 2 cascades, mostly 3, but 2 cascades. 2 cascades would mean there are 2 cascades and 2 vehicles on which 1 cascade is mounted each. So therefore, you have to have 2 trucks, 2 cascades, or 3 trucks and 3 cascades, which bring CNG to the gas station, and when one is dispensing, the other one goes to fetch the next round. That's a very cumbersome process. As a result of that, the CNG was not really very popular, and there were long queues. Government of India has now, which round is this? 4,200?
No. That was till the 8th round.
Right. So till the 8th round, they had another 4,200 gas stations, and they were needing their own cascades. So the total value of cascades, therefore, sorry?
First round was 2021 and then 8,800.
Right. So therefore, there were about 4,200 cascades, which were mostly type 1 cascades. When I say type 1 is all steel. So you see the steel cylinders in the form of a cascade, and they were mounted on trucks. However, in the 9th and the 10th round, which was announced early last year, 2 years before, there were another 8,181 gas stations that were allocated. Now, these gas stations are being rolled out because there is a timeline, and if they don't roll it out within 5 years' time, then that allocation is taken away. So a lot of private parties and also OMCs have participated in it, and they are in a rollout state. I think some extension has been given to them for COVID, but government is very strict about it, that it has to be done in a certain time frame. If you take another 2 cascades per station, it would require a total of 16,362 cascades. Now, typically, 1 cascade would mean about 70 lakhs of rupees. Right, so that amounts to about a business of 11,453 crores to meet out the requirement of these 8,181 gas stations and of course the previous one which are already in place. Though admittedly even for the previous ones, the full casket rollout has still not taken place and people are buying caskets for them as well. And government has also announced that the 10th round bidding will take place sometime later this year or early next year, which will allocate another 14,393. Sorry, 3,000 to 5,000 caskets. Sorry, gas stations, which would require another 7,000 caskets.
7,000 crore is the value that will be required in that gas station.
Right. So the value of business for the casket for those 10th round gas stations is going to be about 7,000 crores. Now, on top of it, the government is also rolling out biogas gas stations, about 300 of them, which will also generate about 210 crores of business. So the business for the casket alone, between the present arrangement, the 9th and 10th round, and also in the 10th and 11th round, is going to be about 22,500 crores. May I remind you that right now the caskets are all with type 1 steel cylinders. Now we have come out with type 4 composite cylinders. The advantage of these cylinders is that the weight is reduced by almost 70 to 75%. The problem in a casket normally is that you can bring in a very limited quantity of CNG to the gas station because the truck has a certain payload and the cylinders being so heavy that the weight available for the gas to come in is extremely limited. However, in type 4 cylinders, as we are able to reduce the weight of the cylinder, the payload available for the truck can actually be used more for bringing in CNG and not carrying the dead weight of the cylinders. As a result of which, one casket and one truck is good enough to bring CNG equivalent to type 1, 2 caskets and 2 trucks. So you can bring twice the quantity of CNG in type 4 cylinders as compared to type 1. And therefore, even if type 4 cylinder caskets are more expensive than the type 1 cylinder casket, it still is comparable because you cut down one casket and one truck. And secondly, the operating cost is reduced dramatically. Now in India, as you would recall, we as a company started making LPG cylinders, the composite LPG cylinders, a couple of years ago, and few million composite cylinders have already gone in about 58 countries all across the world. We then decided to move into CNG and develop the technology for it, and we used the carbon fiber instead of glass fiber and made CNG cylinders which could withstand a pressure. So for example, a LPG cylinder has to withstand the burst pressure of only about 80 to 90 bar, whereas in the case of CNG casket, it is required to withstand the burst pressure of 750 bar. So we had developed these cylinders, we had put them to a thorough testing, and finally we submitted those samples for approval of PESO, the formerly CC&OE. We announced, I think 4 months ago, that our cylinders have been approved by PESO, and we are allowed to use type 4 composite cylinder for the first time in the country for CNG caskets. Now, in this short period of time, where is the chart? We have got orders worth about, so we have sent few caskets already which are in operation. We have orders worth about 50 crores of caskets which are under execution, and we have participated in RFQs or the tenders which for the caskets which are valued at 214 crores. So, and all of these will probably get finalized in next few months because of the timeline that have been set out for the rollout. We are pretty hopeful because of the merits of our product and the advantages that it brings to the CNG distributor. It would actually be preferred, and we are already seeing that those customers who have already started using Type 4 cylinder caskets are actually asking for more, or probably have decided that this time around they would not go for Type 1 but will go for Type 4 cylinder caskets. Right? So, do I do for the onboard also? Or onboard will cover up?
Yeah, no, we can say that
Okay.
we got approval, we got it. So
Right. So, after this one, we also got approval for CNG cylinders for onboard applications. Now, when we talk about onboard applications, we are talking about buses, we are talking about heavy commercial vehicles, we are talking about LCVs, we are also talking about passenger cars. Typically, if you look at bus, the bus has to be in operation all through the day. It is supposed to be traveling something like 800 to 1000 kilometers in a day, and it requires minimum 8 cylinders of 156 liter capacity to be able to meet out the daily requirement. Now, these cylinders are normally mounted on the top of the bus. A Type 1 cylinder will be, let's say, in the case of 156 liter, will be about 90 kg or even more, whereas it will be about 18 or 19 kg in the case of Type 4. So what happens is, if you put Type 1 cylinder on the top of the bus, the center of gravity goes up, and if the bus takes a sharp turn, it is feared that it might overturn. Secondly, the payload, the number of passengers allowed in such a bus are reduced because the total payload has to remain the same, and part of it is eaten away by the dead weight of steel cylinders. So anybody who is operating a bus with Type 4 cylinder where the weight is reduced dramatically has a great advantage of having additional payload, and therefore the extra cost of these Type 4 cylinders is paid off by the advantage that accrue. Likewise, for the commercial vehicles, they require 8 to 10 cylinders which are mounted on chassis. They add to the weight of the vehicle. As a result of that, their payload gets reduced. If they use Type 4 composite cylinder where the weight is reduced by 75 to 80%, therefore they can carry more load and get the freight for that. So the buses and commercial vehicle, also the LCVs, ditto is applicable for them as well. That's a great advantage. On top of it, the passenger vehicles also prefer to have lightweight cylinders as the fuel efficiency improves. Secondly, the additional dead weight spoils their suspension and the brakes very often. Therefore, when we talked to the passenger vehicle manufacturers, they showed tremendous interest in using lightweight cylinders for CNG. Incidentally, in the last year itself, about 170,000, how many cars? 170,000 cars have been sold fitted with CNG cylinders by the OEMs, right? And they could be the potential user for onboard CNG cylinders. We have got cylinders in 60 liter and 156 liter denomination to meet the requirement of small vehicles and the large vehicles, or we can use them in combination. We are expecting that on onboard application, the business will grow tremendously as the rollout of CNG takes place, and more CNG will be available all on the routes. So people will then prefer to buy a CNG vehicle, which they do not do right now. In the next 5 years' time, we expect that onboard CNG cylinder business will grow to about 500 crores per year. So imagine, we talked about a total of, for the caskets, about 1,250 crores per year. And then we talk about on-board, which could be about 500 crores per year. We are not even talking about retrofit business where people convert their cars or vehicles from diesel or petrol to CNG, in which case they would prefer type 4 cylinder rather than type 1. So we are pretty upbeat about the potential of type 4 composite cylinder. Right now we are the only manufacturer of these cylinders in the country, and we are covered under, or we are promoting them under Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. If you look at other manufacturers worldwide, there are just a few. We have got a company called Agility, which does type 4 cylinder. Indorus, who together with TK Fujikan in South Korea. There's one Luxfer, and another one is Quantum. And there are type 3 cylinders where the inliner is made out of aluminium, and then you have carbon fiber on top. We have got 3 people, Worthington, Luxfer, and Catalina. All of them are from USA, and the other one that I talked about are from Europe in type 4. So we have the advantage of being the first one in the country. We have got PASO approval, so nobody can displace us in a hurry, because PASO takes anywhere between 2 to 3 years to approve cylinders. And we are building up the references. Our cascades are in place. We are already talking to OEMs for onboard application. So I think that lead we have taken already will stay with us and help us grow our business. Can we then now go to the question and answers, please?
Sure, sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin a question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touch-tone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may please press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. To ask a question, you may please press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have a first question from the line of Harsh Shah from Dimensional Securities Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, on the composite cylinder part, so you mentioned the business, the size of the opportunity. So, do we also envisage any opportunity in the overseas market as well? That's number one. And number two, what is the replacement value of this business? I mean, I would presume that these cylinders would be long lasting. So once an OEM buys these 3 cylinders from us, then what will be the replacement value few years down the line?
The replacement value you said, right?
Yes. The
Okay,
replacement
let
value.
me start from there. The life of these cylinders is minimum 20 years. We actually get them tested for 20 years life. Right? So you don't require to replace these cylinders for the next 20 years. Whereas the steel cylinder type 1 cylinders, you have to inspect them every 3 or 5 years, and I think they don't really last for more than 10 or 15 years because of rusting and corrosion that takes place regularly. What was the question? What was the next one? Overseas market is very exciting. Like I said, there are only limited number of manufacturers worldwide, but we have decided first we will test them out, use them in India, which is the most difficult geography from operations and handling point of view, and then we will take them overseas. But I have no doubt in my mind that overseas also there is a huge demand for composite cylinders for CNG.
Okay. And when you say that the business for onboard application could be as high as 500 crore, so for how many years do you expect this business to sustain at that level?
Sir, I'm sure so long as the cars are being made and the buses are being made and the commercial vehicles are being made, they will require it every year, because you need to have fuel for that. And if companies decide or the buyer decides to have a CNG vehicle, you need to have a composite cylinder on the vehicle. Not really limited to 1, 2 or 5 years. because every vehicle will require those many number of cylinders.
Understood. And can you throw some light on your pipe business? So there has been some traction in the infrastructure award, and so what kind of order book are you looking at, and what is the roadmap there?
You see, you talked about the pipe business. As a matter of fact, it had been rather disappointing in FY21. Our pipe business was extremely slow. Of course, we had seen it coming in the middle of the year itself. But the reason being, because of COVID, the layout of the pipelines, etc., was curtailed. Number two, we had a situation where state governments do not have enough resources to be able to buy pipes or to pay for the pipe projects, etc., to the EPC companies. And also, there have been lesser allocation from the central government. So the order book is very strong. I think we have order book of about more than 200 crores. But the clearances have not been forthcoming because the rollout was not taking place, the pipelines were not being laid, and the state governments were not able to pay to their contractors.
Since how long have these orders been with us? Have been with us?
Oh, they've been there for about a year and a half.
And we are not been. None of these orders are getting executed.
No, they are getting executed. That's the reason why we still did about 170 crores FY21. But we could have done a lot more if things had been normal. But only thing is, where we could have supplied, let's say, 20 crores worth of pipes, we ended up doing only 3, 4 or 5 crores.
Okay, understood. And sir, on the raw material side, what kind of situation are you looking at? Because the commodities, the prices of commodities have been rising significantly. So how are you placed there?
Raw material prices have been up, but they are now getting moderated. Right? I think there's been a demand restriction for the polymers worldwide. The capacity supply, demand supply gap is now getting bridged, and we are seeing that the price of polymers are getting moderated. What we would like to think is that these prices, when they went up, that was more of an exception. Otherwise, now the prices are coming to the regular price levels that we have been seeing in the previous years.
Okay, so you are not expecting any major disruption on the cost?
No, supplies are being maintained. Of course, there are certain delays because of non-availability of shipping containers, right? Or, as you know, there is a worldwide shortage of shipping containers, and so to that extent, there have been some delays in between, but otherwise, we expect the supply to continue.
Understood. Thank you so much, sir, and all the best.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may please press star and 1. We have a next question from the line of Vikram Vilas Suryavanshi from Flip Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening, sir. Can you share or give a breakup of revenue for established products and value-added products, like what was the revenue share from IBC, composite, and box film in value-added? For full year.
Yeah. So we have the regular products, we have done 2,400 crores or thereabout, and the value-add businesses have been about 595 crores.
And IBC was how much broadly?
In the previous year?
Yeah, in 21. Yeah.
IBC we did about 326 crores.
Okay, and just last from revenue from packaging, like drums, jerry can.
2,240 crores. 2,240. 2240.
Okay, so yeah, I think okay, sir.
Thank you. We have a next question from the line of Nikhil from Chris Portfolio. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, I just wanted to understand, we have been working on the new development products like cylinders for a pretty long period of time now. So, and we keep on introducing, like recently in the current presentation, I'm seeing oxygen cylinder as being introduced. Sir, wanted to understand your strategy, like what type of company are we trying to be, whether we want, your strategy is very clear that we want to increase value added, but I'm just trying to understand the products and the synergies that we have in our production capacities that they get us, and what are the expected timelines. I understand these are like probably the approval takes long period of time, but what are the bottlenecks that we are facing that we are not able to scale composite cylinders like beyond a, say, 600 crores or 700 crores, because we have introduced these products for a pretty like long period of time.
No, that is not correct actually. We did not introduce them for a long period of time. As a matter of fact, we just got approval for CNG cylinders 3 months ago, and for cascade application, and for onboard application we just got it less than 1 month ago. And we could not have manufactured or even given samples to the prospective buyers until we had the approvals in place. What you're talking about is the LPG cylinders, type 4.
My bad, yeah.
Right, for which we are already doing a good amount of business consistently years after years. You asked a very interesting question, what kind of a company are we going to be? You see, we had been and continue to be a polymer product company with a focus on industrial packaging. And that continues to be our mainstay. But as you very rightly said, the company is now focusing on value-add businesses where we have developed competence over a period of time, and composites is the area where we are now feeling we are confident enough to introduce some interesting products which have huge business potential going forward. So our going into CNG cylinders, both for cascade and onboard application, is a part of the same process. I talked about the oxygen cylinder. Please understand, a cylinder is a cylinder is a cylinder. Right. Now, concept is the same. You have an inliner, you have reinforcement by way of either glass fiber or carbon fiber, and the cylinder is able to withstand a very high pressure inside. Now, this one time we saw there is a great opportunity for oxygen cylinders, and by the way, if we think we are through with oxygen, that is not true. As we get to know from the doctors, a lot of people who have recovered from COVID will still require oxygen support at homes for a prolonged period of time, especially senior citizens. So you would require a personal oxygen cylinder at home, which could be used intermittently or in few cases regularly, right, to maintain your oxygen level. So we thought it has a huge prospects. Again, the same reason. You have got a steel cylinder of 10 liter oxygen, which is about 18 kgs in weight. We could develop that in 6 kgs. So we see that for the user that will be a huge advantage. So there is going to be a requirement. We have the technology, and we have been able to develop a product which can meet the requirement of the customer. I'm sure that is just a natural progression of what we are doing already.
Got it, sir. Sir, so if my understanding is correct, the incremental capex over the years will definitely be more towards cylinders, like probably say 60-70%, and probably we will be incurring lesser towards the polymer product, as in the regular product, right?
Yes and no. Of course, the polymer products also are having a lot of opportunities, and wherever we require, we are able to, we will be doing capex there. But you are right, absolutely. There will be a large part of our capex is going to be in these areas where we have such large business potential that we just talked about, both in cascades and on onboard application and oxygen, right? So we will judiciously allocate capital expenditure to the areas where we will have a better ROC or higher EBITDA or better returns.
Got it, sir. That's it from my side. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question, please press star and 1. We have a next question from the line of Ujjwal Kumar from Green Portfolio. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, well, absolutely.
Thanks a lot. So my question is regarding, again, composite cylinder is definitely looking like a very good prospect. I'm just trying to understand what's the difference between the pricing of the metal cylinder versus the composite cylinder. And so that's first question in terms of the cost difference. Second question, have you sort of received any orders from OEMs like Maruti, Hyundai for the onboard business as of today?
Second question first. We got the approval for onboard application just about a month ago.
Right.
Only after we got the approval, we can start sending the samples and discuss with these OEMs. Before that, they did not even want to discuss the possibilities. So we are already in discussion with OEMs. Firstly, we are going to the people like Tata Motors and Eicher, Mahindra and all, where you have got a lot of buses. By the Supreme Court order, the buses, the school buses and the buses inside the cities have to be run on CNG. Right? So therefore, this is a low-hanging fruit, and we are talking to these companies who are making buses. Then the next would be we will go for heavy commercial vehicles. If you ask me personally, passenger car will be at the end of our priority list, because the process for them is a very long one, and probably they negotiate a great deal. So let us remain focused on an area where the customer is in dire need of a lightweight composite cylinder on top of the bus or on the commercial vehicle.
Right.
By the way, Maruti has made an announcement that in the next 3 years' time they will be making about 4 million cars in a year, and out of that 1 million cars are going to be run on CNG. So you can imagine the kind of business potential that exists even for passenger cars.
Understood. And if you could, just a little talk about the cost difference between composite and metal.
Okay, you see, depending upon the area of application, say for example, in the case of casket, the price of our composite cylinder could be something like
70 lakhs for casket and 23 lakhs for type 1.
No, cylinder to cylinder. Okay, let me give you an idea about the casket price. A type 1 steel cylinder casket will be about 23 lakhs rupees. However, type 4 composite cylinder casket will be about 70 lakhs. But incidentally, for the same capacity as type 4 cylinder casket, you require only one casket in a truck. In the case of a type 1, you will require 2 caskets in 2 trucks. So the total capex is always comparable. And whatever little difference is there, the payback is less than 1 year because of the operating cost being half.
Understood.
Right.
So just one question on the CNG side, on the LPG side, sorry.
Yeah.
So FY20, you did an overall business of 179 crores globally.
Right.
And you have claimed that you are the second largest manufacturer of composite cylinders on the LPG side.
That is true, sir.
Trying to understand what is the global market size here and how fast is this growing?
You see, the cylinder business per se is growing very rapidly because a lot of countries are now switching over from the regular fuel to LPG, especially in Africa, Far East, etc. Right. So therefore, the LPG business could be growing at about 10 to 11%. I'm talking about LPG cylinder business.
Right.
The type 4, that is composite cylinder, is only 2% of the total population of LPG cylinders. All the rest is steel cylinders. Right. So the composite cylinders are gradually eating into the steel cylinder market, and also the incremental demand that is coming in because of the changeover from fissile fuel to the LPG, we are partaking in that one. If you ask me, the total market for type 4 composite cylinder worldwide could be about 4 million cylinders in a year. We are talking about less than about a million cylinders a year. So we are looking at 25 5% of the total composite cylinder business market.
Understood. And what was the number for this year, for FY21? What was the size of the LPG business, composite cylinder?
170 crores, 170.
170. Okay. Thank you, sir. That's all from my end. Best wishes for the future.
Thank you very much. We have a next question from the line of Aniket from Trivikram Consultants. Please go ahead.
Hello. So you mentioned that we are expecting a 500 crore revenue per year in next 5 years from onboard application of CNGs. So what is the opportunity that we are expecting in the cascade part?
I have considered 20% of the demand that will be coming up for onboard application cylinders, and the rest 80% I am still giving it to the steel cylinder people. So the opportunity is much higher. The 20% of that is 500 crores, which is what we are trying to tap.
And so, like the opportunity in case of cascades.
Oh, you talk of cascade. Cascade opportunity, like I said, is close to about 22,500 crores in the next 8 years, because this rollout has to take place on or before 2030. Right. So that is close to about 1,250 crores a year. I am telling you, in the case of cascade, we are expecting a much larger share, because we are not only bringing in operating advantages, but even capex is quite comparable.
Right, sir. Right. But and so my other question would be, looking at the current scenario, what is the impact that you are expecting in our top line in the first quarter of FY22?
FY22 is a difficult nut to crack. We allow us to talk about our projections for 22 in the next quarterly review when we have it, because there are too many moving pieces. Believe you me, if you were sitting in my position, you go bonkers, because you can't even predict what is going to happen in the evening, far less 1 month or a quarter later from now. So let things get under control, things stabilize. We then know where third wave is going to come or not come, and how it's going to impact people, attendance, availability of, or the I would say, supply chain, etc. And then probably we can. Let me tell you, there is no dearth of demand, by the way. We are experiencing a good demand from our customers, right? So of course, admittedly, even that is a little truncated, because some of the challenges that we have, they also have the same challenges. Not having enough people, not getting the supply chain fully mobilized. But inshallah, I think as things go forward, they will put their act together, and we will be able to serve them as per the requirements.
Got it, sir. So if I can squeeze in one more question. So is there any revenue that we received from cascades in FY21?
What is that?
Cascade revenue 21.
About 21, no, zero. Zilch.
Okay, okay. Got it, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side. Best of luck for future.
Thank you, Ankit.
Thank you very much. We have a next question from the line of Hitesh from ICICI Direct. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, get help for sale, sir?
Yes, it's help for sale.
Yeah. It's update means we have identified as, I think, you know that we were talking since last 1 year about the ENY suggestion and this about what the study was ongoing. So after getting this ENY report, almost 90% we have suggested, and based on that we have identified certain assets which have been classified as for sale as the situation normalized. Most of the things are relating to land and building, and some of the related assets, business-wise, I can say some kind of the medical division assets which we have identified, assets put up for the sale, and another furniture division item also it is there, because most of the injection molding machine which we can use for alternate business development in conical pails and that. But these are the land things and some of the business assets identified which valued approximately rupees 60 crores.
Okay.
The action will now start because this has
It
been identified now.
that has not been the most opportune time to do the liquidation of these assets. As things get stabilized, I'm sure there are going to be people looking for these assets as they are very valuable. And I think we should be able to see them done by end of this financial year.
Okay. Okay. Sir, my next question pertains to our order book on composite cylinder LPG. Can you share what is the order book in that, sir, at present?
LPG is 1.2 million. So we have an order book of 1.2 million cylinders. If you want to know how much is it in value, 1.2 multiplied by 30. 24. That's about 250 crores. 260 crores to be precise.
Okay, and this will be executed in FY22?
Yes, this is a rolling thing. It keeps happening. So we'll get the new orders and these orders get executed.
Okay. Okay. And sir, my next question from our overseas business.
Yes.
A bit, 2 quarters back when we were in call, you had indicated kind of we had 15 million kind of investment in our Iowa plant in USA, and we were expecting kind of 2x of asset turn in that from that plant. So are we in track on that?
Oh yes, the USA we have got 3 units which are already up and running. Chicago, Houston, and Nashua in Iowa, right? And the sale had been rather good. I mean, as you know, U.S. economy is booming. Everything you produce gets sold out in the same day or the next day. So we are very happy with those investments, and we have been able to make an entry in the market which holds a huge potential going forward.
So, sir, let's say our overseas revenue is around 33% of our overall top line. And now being, domestic business impacted by second COVID wave, so the second wave of COVID. Now, if I assume correctly, 33% or 35% of our revenue will grow by double digits going forward, or because of...
sure. No question about that. No questions about that. Overseas business has lesser challenges, though admittedly the second wave has started a bit late. But looks like they have a better control on the situation. They don't panic. People are still available to work, and the companies are working to the full potential.
Okay. Okay. So, will that mean the further debt reduction from here on?
It is. I think I recall our discussion last when we mentioned that this 21-22 business will be the size of the 19-20 business, which one point of time 19-20 we did 3,600 business. Last year it was 80% of that business, and this year we will going to come back that original business. So debt reduction may be 10-20 crores here and there. That is depending on the again prices of the products and the investment plan of the company. So still we can't say the debt reduction part is concerned, but we are sure our debt to EBITDA definitely will be the more than 4 times that is there.
Talking about this, we talked about composite cylinders, the CNG cylinders, etc. Right now we have not made any allocation for the capex for creating the capacity to tap the market potential that exists. Right, we are trying to do it through incremental capex and kind of debottlenecking some of our capacity which is otherwise for LPG, and we are diverting that into CNG space. But I don't know if this market really picks up the way we are expecting it to. We may have to consider making some capex. Though admittedly, we will not do it until we clearly see that the capex can start contributing almost immediately after we have made the investment.
Okay. And sir, my last question pertains to our near-term point. You discussed about the impact of COVID, which is certainly on our on supply chain or the labor crisis. But do you think, sir, this quarter impact will be higher or say will be in line with last quarter where we had a kind of 40 days of lockdown, or will it be better than last quarter? April
has passed, and if we try and compare, because last time you rightly said that about 50 days were washed out. provide for 30 days of month of April, the month of May, April and May, right? We should be better off than the last year.
Okay. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have the next question from the line of Dipesh from Manya Finance. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Congratulations, sir, for the excellent set of results. Most of my questions have been answered previously, but just wanted to know what is the current capacity of these CNG cascade cylinders are we having? Because most of the production was taken, I remember in the last con call you had said that most of the production was taken from the LPG cylinders.
Right. Dipesh, you are absolutely right. We have two parts for the caskets. One is making the cylinder and the other one is making the casket. Because those cylinders have to be fixed inside of a frame, certain piping and fittings, etc., to make it a one single unit. So we have been able to build the capacity for converting those cylinders into a casket. Cylinder manufacturing is done on the same plant and equipment which are used for LPG cylinders. Of course, we had to add some testing equipment and other allied equipment because of different testing requirements. So I think for the time being, what we are projecting or looking at for the current financial year, we should be able to manage with the capacities that we have. Of course, there might be some marginal investment required in some testing equipment, etc., but no significant capex, if you are asking that.
So when are we expecting a significant capex to come in? Since you have already 260 crore of order book for CNG cascades, and you have been so bullish, and even for the product, I think it's really an excellent product. So when are we looking at capex?
Dipesh, we don't have the order book. The order book is only 50 crores. Those 210 crores cascade is where we have participated and we are expecting the orders to come in next month or so, right?
Okay.
So once we have those orders in hand, I'm sure we will then have a look at our capacities and as to how, because let's face it, I don't want to kill too much of my LPG cylinder capacity as the business is growing and we have worked so hard to develop the market for LPG cylinders. So at some stage we will have to ask ourselves a question whether we should keep diverting our capacity from LPG to CNG or we should, as you rightly asked the question, make separate investment for manufacture of CNG cylinders.
Okay. And most of the supply is to OEM only, no? We are not planning any replacement market for onboard CNG cylinders?
So you're talking about the onboard application. Onboard application, most of the requirement is going to be to the OEMs on one hand. Secondly, in many cases, OEMs don't put the cylinder on the vehicle on their own, as they call it factory fitted, so they have their own associates who provide them the conversion kits along with the cylinder. So we work with those kit suppliers who can then offer to the OEMs the complete fuel system including our cylinders. So in some cases it will be OEM directly, and in few cases it will be through these fuel system suppliers.
Are we in talks with anyone?
Oh, almost everybody. In fact, they are also in talk with us because they would like to increase the value of their fuel system by offering a Type 4 composite cylinder instead of Type 1.
Okay. And just the last question about your oxygen cylinders. Are we planning for any industrial oxygen supply also? I mean, the ones which require a larger capacity, maybe from Linde when they take. Are we looking at that market also?
No, we are not looking for the industrial oxygen cylinders because the steel cylinders seem to serve them well and the price-wise they are much lower. But we are looking featherweight, ultra-clean oxygen cylinders. Like for example, typical steel cylinder has a lot of rusting and corrosion and including your black fungus, right? And then when you force oxygen from those cylinders into the patients, right, you actually create another monster. So we are looking at only for the individual use of oxygen by people who need to have a very lightweight, absolutely clean for high purity oxygen.
And when are we planning to make these? I mean,
we have made the prototypes. Now it will all depend upon PESO, how quickly they give us the approval. We have started the process already.
Okay. All the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have the next question from the line of Mr. Irani, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Irani, please go ahead.
Yes, so my number one question is, how long have the operations been down for this April to June quarter? Which divisions were affected and closed? And what percentage of the business was closed? And what impact will it have on revenue and profit numbers?
Well, like I said, we will answer this question more intelligently as we go for the next quarter reviews. But just to give you an idea, we did not have to close down any of our units. So, for example, it is a different matter. We may not have been able to run all the 3 shifts in some of the places, or the number of people who were coming to work were less. But we didn't have to close down the unit. They've been running regularly with truncated capacity.
So, what is the percentage of output that was affected?
Mr. Rani, I think one gentleman has asked us the question, as this Q1 business, how is affected? Mr. Jain has already replied, this Q1 of 22 will be better than the last year Q1 because it is less affected than the last year.
No, I am talking about volume output. How much has been affected? 20% affected, 30% affected? Percentage-wise.
No, business segment has a different percentage. In terms of the overall percent, you can say 15% business affected.
Okay, only 15% business affected. Okay, that's just what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other person, you answered what your current CNG production capacity is just 1 or 2 cascades per day or 1 or 2 cascades per month?
We can do 1 cascade every alternate day, right? But like I said, that is for the manufacturing of cascade. But the cylinder is a different matter altogether. So we will be able to, that will depend upon which size of a cylinder, for what application, whether it's for cascade or it's for onboard application. But the numbers that we have projected for the current year, or where we are expecting the business to come in, I think we'll have enough capacity to meet out that requirement. Yep.
Thank you. We have a next question from the line of Jigar Shah from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bilal. So my first question is that steel prices have gone up through the roof, and our immediate competitors are steel cylinders. So what do you suggest going forward, whether we will gain the market share in this against steel cylinders across the world, and in our polymer drums especially?
No, I think your question is not clear. You have to speak little louder.
Can you speak up a little louder, please? I couldn't get it clearly.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, sir. So my question was that steel prices have gone up through the roof. So do you expect that polymer drums would gain the market share as against steel drums?
You are
across the world?
Absolutely right. One is that we can get more market share. Secondly, we can get a better price for our polymer drums. I think we will prefer later, right? Because we have a fairly significant market share. As you know, 50% is steel drums and the 50% is polymer drums. So I think that is more or less given. But within the same customers, since the steel prices have gone up, customers are willing to pay a bit better for polymer drums now, rather than comparing with the steel drum prices. You see, the steel drums are not being replaced in certain areas. For example, lubricating oils or some chemicals which cannot be filled in plastic drums. So that cannot be changed. because of the chemical characteristic of the polymers.
Right.
But yes, you're right. Steel prices staying up certainly gives us an opportunity to penetrate into the customers who are better paymasters.
And so hence, do you expect, since the polymer prices we must have already passed on the higher prices, so do you expect our EBITDA margins to go up in FY22?
As a matter of fact, if you look at the history also, whenever there had been an increase in the price of polymer, we have been able to pass it on to our customers. We have a very transparent process. However, if the prices are coming down, which is or moderating, then we are duty bound to pass it on to our customers too, with a time gap of a little bit. So, to some extent, there might be a difference in a shorter period, but in the long period, it gets passed on.
Okay. And sir, my next question would be on CapEx front. What kind of CapEx are we envisaging for FY22?
Well, I can tell you it will be minimum will be what we have done in FY21, because we have done only about 100 crores, out of which about 70 to 80 is on maintenance and other things. But we will take a call on the CapEx, like I said, depending upon how our market for CNG cylinders pan out, whether we are able to meet the requirement of the customer by diverting our capacity from LPG cylinder to CNG, or we need to add more equipment.
So currently, how much revenue will you be able to generate with the current capacity in both LPG and CNG?
We can do about
incrementally
from the existing capacity. That's right.
So currently, you did around 170 crores in FY21, and incrementally.
That is about LPG cylinder. I'm talking about CNG cylinders. I can do about 50 to 60 crores without affecting my LPG cylinder business.
Okay. And incrementally, if you want to do CapEx, then how much CapEx you will be incurring approximately, and how much revenue will be generating from that?
But to be honest with you, we don't have to do CapEx at one go. So even if we do that, we'll be doing it incrementally, right? And there will be a brownfield expansion, because it will be an extension of our LPG cylinder capacity. So some of the equipment are fungible. Right? So it's very difficult for us to say. I think everything will depend upon how the CNG cylinder business pans out and what are the kind of timelines that we have to work with. But interesting thing is we are keeping the powder dry, that if the demand goes up, we should be able to create that capacity in a jiffy.
Okay, that's great to hear, sir. So that means a couple of years of only 100 to 150 crores of capex, and you are better off with better cash flows.
Sure,
that's great.
We require too much of a capex actually.
Okay, that's it from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Due to time constraint, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yep. Okay. So I hope we have been able to answer some of the questions. I wish things were a little bit more clear for us as well, so that we could give some more definite answers. But I'm sure when we meet 3 months from now, things would be clearer and we will be able to answer the questions more intelligently. I thank investors for their continued interest and their support to the company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to all my valued investors. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.
All right. Thank you.